Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Reichenator again. Welcome back to Angels with Scaly Wings. We are hopefully very close to finally finishing this. It's a good story and everything, but I'm ready to be done with it and move on to the next game. It's an emotional roller coaster. It's uh, just a couple things here. Sorry. Getting into I'll make the sound. Anyways, uh, just an emotional roller coaster. I mean, Remy's story sad, and then you had his quote unquote good ending. I don't know how you call that a good ending. Yeah, he lives. I keep getting into that. I digress. Anna just freaking dies in her good ending still. Cancer's a bitch. Got the bad ending for Lorem and Adine. So hopefully we'll get Lorem's good ending today. I'm gonna try to get Bryce's good ending as well. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. What? Okay, we're after the second murder. I think we just kind of go through this. Yeah, let's see what happens if I don't help him. Sorry, don't worry about it. Go to police archives. Okay, we got the map for Adine's ending. We did the rummage through the trash. We got the stand for the sphere thingamajig. Let's read the damage report. According to the report, too far. Didn't mean to do that. According to the report, the investigation of the building was halted due to the acute danger of its collapse and the damage that the surrounding water could cause. Since the building had unknown historical and technological value, there was a plan in place to drain the water pockets. The legal permissions had not yet gone through, however, and it would take some time for the equipment to arrive. For now, the building was stable as long as it remained undisturbed, but for obvious reasons, no one was allowed to enter. There were patrols guarding it day and night. Okay. Alright, let's play a prank. Okay, here we go. Should do it. Wasn't sure when Bryce was going to be in his office again, but when he returned, he would definitely notice this. What did I do? My condolences to him. Okay. Oh, look at the time. Better wrap it up. Don't think this affects me in any way. Alright, finally free day. And the barbecue I told you. Oh, okay. We'll go back through and do his later after this one. Lorem again. Let's skip ahead. We got that. If I'm going to do Bryce's, let's just get some well-deserved rest. Okay. Skip. More skipping. Do it. Don't kill Bryce. This isn't the witness. Sure. Did I not? I thought I did this. I did this with Adine's. Anyways, I'll go inside, so I'll take those off your hands. Thanks for bringing them here. No problem. Adine, wait for me. Oh, I don't remember this. Okay, I guess I didn't do this. Good job, right? Hey, Vara, you're not dead. Vara, do you know who that is? She doesn't talk much. I think we should go inside. Yeah, probably. Well, see you some other time, Reich. Thanks for coming. Is that it? Thanks for all your help. Administrator. Let's meet with Lorem. Hopefully we... Okay, so we're at my apartment. The sphere parts should be here, so Lorem should... Yep, here we are. So the sphere you found. Lorem walked up to the table and picked up the round object I had found at the park. Yeah, maybe you can help me find out if it's actually Ipsum's or not. Sure. Looks like it has no battery, though. You turned the sphere a few times and placed it on the base and plugged it in. You have assembled the Ixamen sphere. Ugh, I hate these dogs. High spherical. Touched the base in a peculiar way. In response, writing appeared on the sphere's surface. Cool. Looks like this really is Ipsum's sphere. He'll be relieved to know it was found. So, what can we actually do with it now? Nothing, really, unless you know the password, that is. Well, that's a shame. I do happen to know his password, but that's only for emergencies. No playing around with the sphere, then. Got it. By the way, did you hear about Ipsum? Apparently, he's become a witness for a murder case. No, I had no idea. Looks like, yep, got all that. Good. Alright, looks like we're on the right path for the good ending. Don't mind. Let's meet with Kevin. Sure. The furry dragon. Hello. Good to see you again. This is where you live, huh? For the time being. It's pretty nice for a small town like this one. Are you not from around here? No, I'm just here for the job until the next semester starts. Basically, I'm trying to drum up interest for the college and see if there's anyone around who'd like to apply for it. How's that working out? Well, I haven't actually met that many candidates out here so far. For a town like this one, it's typical for the young people to go into an apprenticeship to prepare for their future job rather than go to college. But if there's anyone willing, we want to find them. Even out here? Yeah, there's always a need for more highly educated people in the cities as they expand. Cities? That's the first I hear of cities in this world. I thought this town was where it's at. Then you've really been missing out. This town isn't really all that special when it comes down to it. I prefer small towns. I've lived in the city for most of my life. Of course, that's also where the college is. I don't think they'd build one out here anyway. I'd think as ambassador they'd show me around a bit, but apparently that isn't the case. We're kind of busy dealing with some murders. Your visit is a bit of a political issue right now. The bottom line is that it's also for your own protection. Everything surrounding the portal has been a well-kept secret. People know that it exists and that we currently have human visitors, but the exact location is only known to those who live here. If it ever gets out, I don't think this town could face the ensuing torrent of tourists trying to catch a glimpse of you. Travel has been restricted as well. There are strict conditions for people who want to come out here. The only reason I was allowed to is because this isn't the first time I'm doing this job. People here already know me. Heck, I didn't even know this was the town in question until I arrived and heard everyone talking about you. Well, I'm glad they are taking this matter seriously. They certainly are. I'd like to know more about these cities you talked about, though. Well, I can only speak about the one I live in, but what do you want to know? I only really have this town as a point of reference, so why don't you tell me about what's different? Gee, that's only pretty much everything. Out here, living in general seems to be a lot cheaper than it is in the city, and there is much more room for everything. There are green spaces, fields, parks, and farms. You don't really see that in the city. Pretty accurate. People are more laid back, and there is a bigger sense of community as everybody knows everyone, which can be both good and bad. For example, rumors travel fast and survive well in areas like this one. In the city, you can just make new friends when that happens, but out here, a few well-placed stories could mean social death. In the city, it's also much more crowded. Buildings pretty much line the streets, and there isn't much room for anything else. But with the clubbing scene and opportunities for socializing, there's no shortage of potential friends. There are also many different jobs and education opportunities that you wouldn't find out here. Like what? Creative jobs of all kinds, for example. Game designers, writers, artists, that kind of stuff. The same goes for teaching positions in those areas as well. For example, if I wanted to learn how to write a romance novel, I can find a course for that easily. Out here, this would be a lot more difficult, you know what I mean? Yes, absolutely. In a way, it feels like you're always busy when you live in the city. The streets are usually filled with people trying to get somewhere. Of course, this is also a side effect of the small apartments, as people tend to go out more often and seek entertainment elsewhere. Which do you prefer? In the end, I suppose I prefer the city. That's not to say that I think one is better than the other. Different strokes for different folks and all that. You know, out here people would probably laugh at some of the things I do in my free time, but in the city, you get enough like-minded people to get conventions going about all kinds of things. What conventions do you go to? I like all kinds of geeky things. Cartoons, comics, and all that stuff. Nerd. I've even written a few fanfics before, too. What a weirdo. Who does that? Oh wait, me. Since I can't really draw all that well. Is this guy me? Except for the big city part. I don't like big cities, but he writes fanfics and he can't draw to save his life. Aren't cartoons usually for kids? It's like saying books are usually just for kids. Cartoons are just a medium. Of course there are some that are aimed at kids, but there are cartoons for adults as well. Cartoons for adults, I see. Not like that. Well, I mean, there are cartoons like that, but that wasn't what I was talking about. In any case, what else falls under geeky interest for you? Let's see. I guess you could say I'm kind of a techie. I do like following news about technology and hearing all about new developments in the industry. Okay, well, a bit less like me. You must be pretty interested in the portal then. Oh, right. I didn't even consider that I could actually go there and check it out. If I knew where it was, that is. It's a little hard to find. Not hard to find. It stands out. I could show you. If you did that, you'd be the coolest human I've ever met. But wouldn't I? Anyways, I suppose you'd be that by default, since you're also the only human I've ever met, but you get the idea. Let's just go. I'll be right behind you. Yep, there's the portal. There it is in all its glory. That looks so much cooler than I thought it would. Halt! State your business. I just wanted to show the portal to my friend here. Well, friend, you can look, but don't touch anything. And no photos either. Do I look like I have a camera? He's so done with him. Well, you could be hiding something in your fur. Are you going to give me a pat down? I don't think so. What's that, though? Flyers for our Midwest institution. I could give you one if you're interested in going back to school. No, thank you. I'm quite happy with my current job, which is protecting the portal from any unsavory individuals. What's up with you, Sebastian? Just doing my job, Reich. He could be a spy. For who? Really? There's been a lot of interest in the portal from the cities. They have made us offers, But for now, we're not doing anything until we see how your visit turns out. In the end, it's just a political power struggle. Small towns like us have to protect our interests. And in the process, reinforce the stereotype of country bumpkins being conspiracy nuts. I could arrest you, right? For what? Respect is a two-way street, just saying. Trust is good, but control is better. It's just a matter of perspective. Well, I think I've seen enough here anyway. Let's head back, right? Sure. That wasn't weird. You're not gonna leak anything, are you? Of course not. Now I think about it, I totally could, though. Oh, really? I have some connections and a potential audience. Now you're starting to sound like Sebastian had a point. Not really. I just know a few people from writing a column in our college magazine. It got popular enough that it was even featured in the local newspaper for a while. Interesting. What did you write about? Nothing special, really. It was just commentary about current events. I see. I guess you were pretty involved in your local community then. Not more than anyone else, I think. What's it like to actually live on campus? Has its ups and downs. College in general is a pretty unique period of life, I'd say. Something I've noticed is that some people are not prepared for the independence they have when living on campus. Ain't that the truth? You are given a chaotic schedule where you have nothing to do on some days, whereas on others you are kept busy with classes, homework, and other things you have to do. With study buddies, roommates, and classmates, it's not really hard to make new friends. You also get to meet a lot of people who share similar interests from taking the same classes or being in the same clubs. And don't forget about the dorms, so all these people are always within reach. Which can also be both good and bad. You can be tempted to hang out with friends when you should really be studying. For many people, it becomes the first taste of real freedom and independence. Some just handle it better than others, I suppose. Pretty accurate. It took me a minute to adjust to college, but in the end I graduated, so there's that. That can be a problem with team projects, for example. There's always someone who ends up never showing up and not doing any part of the work. Yep. For me, it's not really a problem since I actually enjoy what I'm doing here. I don't mind the homework, and sometimes I read up on subjects in advance so I don't get left behind. I even corrected the professor once or twice during a lecture. I think that wouldn't be a good idea with certain kinds of professors. Well, with ours, I was even allowed the privilege of giving a guest lecture for my own class once. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I was talking about. Come on, learning should be fun. It certainly is for me. I suppose being able to have that kind of attitude makes it a lot easier. It certainly does. See if it keeps up once you have a few more semesters under your non-existent belt. Don't be so negative. And just for your information, I do have a belt at home. Besides, it's not as if I'm some sort of antisocial hermit who only focuses on his studies. I just know when to say no to my friends. No, really. Yes, we usually get together on the weekends and do some cooking together. People can only stand so much frozen food before they get sick of it. Yep. And eating out in the city can add up pretty quickly if you're not careful. I see. We rotate the cook every week, but apparently people are looking forward to when it's my turn. I've gotten a lot of compliments for my homemade mac and cheese. Well, you can get some pretty tasty homemade mac and cheese going. Now you're making me hungry. I bet they all miss it, but they'll get to taste it again once summer vacation is over in a month or so. And in the meantime, you're just out here handing out flyers. Yep, it's good to help our college. And I can also save up a bit in the process. It's certainly easier than trying to juggle a job and homework at the same time later on if things get tight. What were you studying again? Psychology. I see. Alright, go ahead and analyze me right now. It doesn't really work like that. I know. You just passed the test. Oh, I know what you're getting at. Maybe I'll steal that test from you, though. Might be worth trying it out on a few people I know. Be my guest. On a more serious note, tell me something about what you're learning. What? Anything? I just want to get an idea of the subject, and whether it's comparable to our own understanding of psychology. I see. Well, I could tell you that about an old and very simplified model of our psyche that we got taught in introductory classes. Sounds good. Okay, so this model divides our psychic apparatus into three distinct parts called id, ego, and superego. I know some people that are super egotistic. The id represents our most basic desires and instinctual drives. That is, our physical needs and wants, like hunger and thirst, as well as desires and impulses. What's the difference? An impulse is more like wanting to lash out in anger, for example. The id seeks out immediate gratification for these urges. It is in conflict with the superego, which represents learned behavior like cultural and moral rules and societal standards. The kind of stuff we learn from our role models like parents, teachers, or guardians. The superego is the part that forms our conscience and controls our sense of right and wrong. It seeks to uphold these standards to perfection, which most of the time goes against what the id wants at any given moment. You sound like you had to learn a lot of this. If those internalized rules are broken, this misbehavior is punished by the superego with feelings of guilt and shame. This way, we are compelled to behave in accordance to these rules even if the id tempts us to do otherwise. So it's like the id is the devil on your shoulder and the superego is the angel. Interesting. And in between these two conflicting parts of us, there is the ego who is trying to mediate. It represents our rational mind that seeks to please the id's drive in a way that doesn't harm us or goes against the superego's goal. However, it also serves another master, the external world. The ego includes all our decision making, and how we respond to external stimuli. Ultimately, it is the one calling the shots while trying to balance the needs of the id, the superego, and the external world. And there you have it, an outdated, simplified model of our psyche. It still serves as a good introduction, though. Thank you. Actually, I think I may have heard something like this before. Why did you go with psychology in particular? I'm just interested in how people work, I suppose. It's also an incredibly diverse subject, and so are the potential jobs. Just being able to understand people is such a huge factor in many fields, and the skills you learn can come in handy in all areas of life, really. When people hear about psychology, most usually think of psychologists or psychotherapists, but they can also be counselors for communities and organizations, researchers or teachers. You also often see them teaming up with the other professionals to influence every part of society. Just think about hospitals, courtrooms, prisons, even schools and universities. They can also become coaches for high-performance jobs where they work with CEOs, athletes, and performers of all kinds. Every institution and every business that works with people can profit from the presence of someone who has studied psychology. That's why you'll also find this kind of knowledge to be incredibly helpful, even when you are a manager or in sales, because those jobs require empathy and an understanding of your client's needs. Understanding people is just something that can come in handy pretty much wherever you go, and that's what psychology is all about. Even in video games, psychology is a factor. Horror games are an obvious example, but also with tutorials or UI designs and how people interact with your game, psychology and player expectations are always going to be a factor. I think I get the idea. Now here, I think a lot could still be done to improve the image of the field, you know. What do you mean? There's a bit of a stigma to admitting that you need help, especially when you're doing fine physically. Yeah, I guess. For them, it's a sign of weakness, so in order to preserve their image, they hide everything away. Hey, Zach. but locking away those feelings doesn't solve the problem. If anything, it only makes it worse. Trying to get Lorem's good ending. I think we're on the right path. We got the Ixamen sphere all fixed. Just going through this part with Kevin. And if we get through Lorem's fast enough, I'll go on to Bryce. I believe he's the last one. I see. I think you still have plenty of time to figure that out. Yeah, before I came here for my summer job, I was interning at a psychotherapist's office for a month. Got to hear about some very interesting and also tragic cases. I thought I wanted to help people with issues like that, but sometimes it's pretty hard not to be affected too much by those stories, so I'm not sure if that's the right job for me. But you already like working with people, right? I don't know, maybe interning there was a little too close to the sun for me. If you didn't, why would you be the one to hand out the flyers? It's just like you mentioned earlier, psychology comes in handy with sales and similar jobs, where you have to interact with people. Handing out flyers is pretty similar to that, don't you think? I guess. You seem to be doing well enough with that. You're helping to bring your college and people together, and in this way, you're helping both. And it's been a lot of fun too. After all, I got to meet you and even got a glimpse of the portal. Who knows, maybe one of those people you handed a flyer will one day turn out to be famous for their work. Now, I think that's a little too idealistic, but I get your point. Doesn't always have to be about big problems. Little problems need solving too. You definitely want to fix those little problems, keep them from becoming big problems. Like what you're eating on the weekend. Yeah. What about you, though? What do you mean? Well, I don't want to pry, but we've been talking all this time, and you know a lot more about me now than I know about you. Maybe you can't say anything about where you grew up or what you studied because it's top secret or whatever, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. Well, I don't like talking about myself all that much, and I think there are some things that are better left unsaid. I see. But if you're curious, I guess it's only fair I share a few things as well. You know, it's been fun talking about college. I already got my degrees a while ago. It was interesting to go hunting for jobs with my unusual combination of degrees, but I thought that would open a few doors. Before I got anywhere, our world underwent a few changes that made a lot of jobs obsolete. It's been a rough time since then. Turns out those degrees came in handy after all, because in the end they enabled me to come here. If I consider all the good and bad that's happened here since my arrival, it's been a vacation compared to home. Yeah, dragons getting murdered is a vacation. And it looks like the vacation might come to an end soon. I don't know what's going to happen after that. I can only hope my visit here will have started something that will mean change for our world. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I shouldn't be such a downer, though. Sorry for bringing it up, but maybe that explains why I don't like talking about it. What's your professional opinion on this? Well, in my professional opinion as a flyer distributor, I'd recommend a generous application of hugs, but that's just me. You look like you could need them. Go for it. I took a step forward and I soon found myself being enveloped in the furry dragon's embrace. With him pulling me close, it felt like a giant's furry blanket was all around me as the hairs tickled my exposed skin. After a few seconds, we parted and he took a step back again. I hope things can be better for you in the future. I don't think I can do anything to help with that, though. I know, you prefer the little problems. Wow, changed the nighttime real quick. It's getting dark. I should probably head out and look for a cave, or else I'll have to sleep in the streets. What are you talking about? Well, it seems like all the hostels are already full. Despite the vetting process for visitors, enough people got in to take all available short-term lodging spots in this town. Oh, really? Yep. Despite only a few people knowing your location, or that of the portal, journalists and tourists are flocking to the towns, hoping to catch a glimpse, or at least find a clue of your whereabouts. That only leaves me with the option of finding or renting a cave for the night, or sleeping in the streets. Not that I mind sleeping in a cave, but for someone like me, it's usually something for an adventurous weekend rather than a way of life. And rocks don't exactly make for the best bedding. Yeah, sure. Really? Yeah, there's plenty of room here, and it's kind of my fault that you couldn't find another place anyway. I guess that means you don't share the officer's suspicion about me being a spy, then. Not really. You know, I could totally take this room apart while you're sleeping. You're not helping your case there. Besides, you won't really find anything special here. Hey, I keep an eye on that copy of Draconic Desire you've got on the shelf there. I might be tempted to snatch it when you're not looking. Like I'd mind. If you need something for bedtime reading, feel free to help yourself. Oh, I will. You went with Kevin and learned a lot about city and college life. Congratulations. Is that the only thing we do with Kevin? Okay. Lorem. Let's do it. Give it to Lorem when we... Take the sphere. Yep. Definitely take the sphere. Okay. Oh, I also brought the Sphere. Maybe we can finally find its way home. Great. Would you mind holding onto it, though? I don't really have a bag or anything to put it in right now. That's alright. Just remind me to give it to you later. Sure. I think it's starting. Look. Okay, fireworks. Whoa. Okay. Wait a minute. Give me the sphere. Okay. Gave Lorem the sphere. Lorem took the sphere from my hands and slid their fingers over its interface in a peculiar way. After a few seconds, they were done, and the sphere was back in my hands. Might not help you much, but if something goes wrong, just throw it at him. Alright. Where is he, anyway? Sebastian's still dead. Poor guy, I need to find a way to save him. Okay. I'm having this conversation with you. What? What are you talking about? Your plan, Reza. I know all about it. Well, we're getting a different ending here. Okay. Great. Then stop wasting time and help me with this. I'm not here to help you. This is where it ends. What is your problem, Reich? You know about the comet, so we can... Hang on. Sorry about that. My wife called. Trying to get a little dock run set up in our backyard. What's your problem, Reich? You know about the comments, we can't stay here. Just shut up, Reza. I'm not in the mood to talk with you anymore. I don't need to, because your friend has just arrived. Suddenly, Maverick and Lorem appeared next to me. You planned this, didn't you, Reich? Traitor! Okay. Lorem took flight with a few beats of their wings and was about to collide with Reza, but at this last moment, Reza got out of the way and hit Lorem with a well-aimed kick. Okay, Lorem gets kicked again. Took the sphere and threw it towards Reza as hard as I could. At first it looked as though it was going to miss, but the sphere adjusted its path and flew straight towards him. Reza aimed at me, but the sphere hit him before he could pull the trigger. He lost his balance and stumbled backward before he fell to the ground. As he got up, I saw that the barrel of his gun was now bent out of shape. Such for you, Reza. When he realized this, he bolted toward the exit. I tried to stop him, but he hit me in the face with the gun's blunt end and ran past me. Jeez. It took a few seconds till I composed myself and ran after him. Okay. As I went up the hill, I saw that Reza was already taking his place while the portal did its starting routine. I ran up to the console and entered a few commands. Reza turned around and saw me. What are you doing? Reza walked off the platform, but I quickly ran around the console and threw my weight against him, just in time for the portal to start teleporting. Are we both teleporting to the... Okay. Lorem lived to tell the police what had transpired in the underground building. The conversation they had overheard was enough for the dragons to find out about the comet, and with the help of the portal's power source, they were able to divert it. As neither humanity nor the dragons knew where Reza and I ended up, our visit was considered a failure. Humanity had decided that if our visit did not yield any results, they would no longer try their luck with the portal, and instead use their remaining energy to hold on as long as they could. For the dragons, life went on as usual, but for our city, this outcome meant they had to continue their fight on their own. It was an uphill battle that was eventually lost when the city ran out of resources and fell. Okay. So Lorem's good ending ends up with us both being teleported. What happens to Reza? Well, can't skip the credits, so I'm just gonna have to wait until it's over and see what happens. Still need to do a Dean's good ending, but I'm saving her for last. Still gotta do Bryce. I think I got a good chunk of his done. Is there a way to date Sebastian? I don't know if I missed it. I'll have to figure that one out. I still say Lorem has the best theme for characters. The best soundtrack in this game is still emotional when Remy's telling you his tragic story. There's Lorem. this is different. We reappeared on the other side and collapsed to the ground. It was the day of my arrival in the dragon's world, just as I planned. What the fuck is going on here? Oh, look what the cat dragged in. You're supposed to be dead. Am I now? You're right, but today is not the day. She held up Reza's head and punched him. Nice. His body instantly went limp as he fell unconscious. Good job, Reich. Oh, is that yours? She pointed at an object on the ground behind me. When I turned around, I realized that it was the Ixamen sphere. Whatever setting Lorem activated had apparently prompted it to follow us, even through the portal. Not exactly. Better hold on to it regardless. Those things are expensive. She walked over to Reza's lower half, whoa, and started lifting him by the legs. Come on and help me with this. We've got a long night ahead of us. What am I doing? Okay. Got Lorem's good ending. Oh, hey, I got Kevin. Nice. So I guess there are some characters where you just have to meet with them and have a good ending, but good meeting to get them on the screen. Okay, well, let's see how this goes. Okay. How's everything the same though? We had a meet with Bryce, I guess. What's gonna happen? This one, I'll take 3. Skip ahead. Oh, we have a meet with Sebastian option. Let's go ahead and do that. Hey, Sebastian, this is Reich. Huh? He just hung up. You're still here? I'm still on the clock, you know. Huh. Well, I'm glad you take my security so seriously. Just doing my job, sir. I appreciate it. Anyway, did you need anything? It's pretty boring when I have to spend the day all my own. I don't really know anyone here yet, so I don't know where I could go or what I could do for fun. Well, if it were earlier, I could have shown you around town and given you the tour, but it's getting dark outside, and I think most places are closed by now. Let me think. Do you like being outdoors? Yeah. Oh, me too. What do you think about camping? So interesting. You want to go camping right now? Wife's calling again. In just minutes or two. Sorry, my wife called again. So, she's gonna be here in just a minute to take my truck, switch cars, take my truck, and possibly pick up a kennel or dog run, whatever. So I have to step out here in just a minute. Yeah, I was just talking to my wife. Looks like we're cave camping. Should I say? And my son's waking up. Sounds great. Sure. Let's try and make this as good as possible because I want to save Sebastian. Just us and nature itself. We even have some natural lighting here. So much for the real deal. You can just sit in the dark if you prefer that. No, I think this will do. Have you ever gone camping before? Not like this. I see. No, I was kind of nervous when I met you the first time. I could tell. It was quite a thing to hear that humans were going to visit our world, but when I met you and it turned out you were just like an ordinary person, that really threw me off. Yes, I'm a sheriff deputy working in my county's jail. Did you meet Reza before? Gonna have to pause. Do that. So you know I'm away. I gotta go clean out my truck real quick. I'll be back in just a little bit. Alright, I'm back. Actually, no. Everything about your visit is clouded in secrecy, so I didn't get to hear much about Reza from Maverick before I met you. I see. So, are you one of those who expected me to act a certain way because I'm human? Are you racist, sir? Actually, that didn't have much to do with it. Any high-profile guest would have made me nervous, especially if I was in charge of keeping them safe. I also happen to be the newest guy on the force, so I didn't exactly want this to turn into a career ender right there. Playing Door Kickers Action Squad. Never heard of it. Thank you, I'll do my best. I'm sure of it. How long have you been on the force? They didn't assign the rookie to me, did they? Just because I'm the newest guy doesn't mean I'm a rookie. It's been a few years now. Hey, what's up, Bonnie? I suppose that means you don't get many new recruits. Not here, at the very least. This is just a small town, so we don't really need them all that often. I got lucky when I got this position because I figured there'd be more competition from the locals. Locals? Don't you live here? I live here now, but I actually grew up in a small farming village that mostly consisted of runners like me. Platform shooter where you play as the cop. I have to look that up. Runners. Oh, that's just what we call our species sometimes. We've got pretty powerful legs. I can see that. Are there many villages where the inhabitants are mostly of the same species? For sure. It's mostly smaller ones, though, because the bigger they get, the more variety you'll find. I see. I only have my hometown to compare, but from what I've heard, there are other villages that are fairly similar. They can only survive like that if they lead much simpler lives or if they focus on a certain industry that species is good at. Multiple characters and different playstyles. So your species is good at farming. Better than the earth dragons, at least, even though they come in handy pulling the plows. Yeah. What's the story for the dragons? Where do we begin? There's a lot. Why did you decide to become a police officer? I just wanted to see what's out there beyond our vegetable fields, and if whatever was there was like the stories I've heard. Is it? Oh yes, it's been great. Now that you mention it, I don't really know much about this town either. Well, what would you like to know? Let's go with people. They're a friendly bunch for the most part. Of course, I also met some unpleasant fellows in my line of work, but luckily, those seem to be the minority. There was also a bit of a culture shock when I initially came here with all the different species living here together, but my police training took care of that. So I like to work with Bryce. He kind of took me under his wing when I came here, and I've been working with him ever since. Pun not intended. Found it a bit weird that the big shot himself had to show the country bumpkin the ropes, though. I thought he saw it as a challenge or that he wanted to scare me away, but honestly, he's been great. Everyone here trusts him a lot. Sure hope so. What's it like having so many different species on the force? Compared to my hometown, it's not quite an interesting change. On one hand, you get all kinds of different people with all kinds of different strengths, abilities, and backgrounds that can make your work so much easier. On the other hand, it also creates all kinds of new problems that I never would have expected. I won't forget the first time I had to follow a shoplifter who also happened to be a flyer. That would make it a little difficult. The land, well, I hear they have fertile soil. Not as fertile as my hometown, though. I was talking more about if they have any sort of industry. Oh, I see. This town is actually quite unique because even though it's fairly small, it has its own production facility. With that, we basically have our own full production chain. So your one factory is everyone's pride and joy here? In a way, yes. It makes us fairly independent and keeps everything local. Why do they make this an option if they only give me one? Secrets? This town doesn't really have any secrets. Yeah, bullshit. Not that I know of at the very least. Maybe you just don't belong to the inner circle yet. I think as a member of the police force, I'd get to see everything there is to see. Either way, I don't think there's anything special that special about our town. But hey, I'm not the only one who's been new here. What are your impressions? Good, bad, ugly? It's been fun so far. It's been hectic so far. Which one's a good one? Well, that's understandable with everything that's been going on. Maybe it's a good thing most places were closed. Not sure if I would have enjoyed any more sightseeing much. Suppose you're just not a runner like I am. We don't mind staying on our feet. I'm not sure if it was a good idea by Bryce to take you to the crime scene though. I know he's a hands-on guy, but that really was a bit much. Pun not intended. Okay. If you need my help, I'm glad to give it. Fostering goodwill and all that. Well, at least you don't seem to be traumatized from the experience. Anyway, how about some fun? What kind of fun are you talking about? What are we talking about? Brought some playing cards. A staple for any camping trip. Yeah, that's definitely true. I see. What are we playing? Just a little game called Bastion Breach. Ever heard of it? No? No, can't say I have either. We often play it in the break room to pass the time. It's good fun, though things can get quite heated sometimes. Let me go over the rules. Oh boy. Sure. Okay, wait, what? Oh. As you can see, each of us starts with all the cards of a given suit in their hands. You're diamonds, and I'll be hearts. You got my heart already. Dating all, kinda dating all the dragons. Is that so? Anyway. Let's go with this one. Might as well. Anyways. Oh, okay. What you see in the center is the middle row, which is a line of shuffled cards from another suit. This way, each game is going to be unique since the middle row always changes between games. Now, this is how the game works. We will play around for each card in the middle row, starting with the one you see at the very left. Hang on a second. Why is the Queen, King, and Jack like the human? Maybe a little bit of a... Oh, what's the... Probably just missed that. Anyways, moving on. We'll play around for each card in the middle row, starting with the one you see at the very left. During each round, we will both decide which card to play and put it there face down, like this. Once we both have played a card, we flip them over. The highest card wins the round, and whoever played it gets a point. To clarify, 2 is the lowest card and the king is the highest. The ace is a special card. It beats every face card, but will lose against any number card. Interesting. Now, the card from the middle row also counts, so it's possible that neither of us will get the point for a round. If there is a tie, no clear winner between the 3 cards, or the middle row has the highest card, no player will get a point for that round. However, the next round will give the winner an extra point to make up for it. Interesting. At the end, the player with the most number of points wins the game. Did you get all that? Yeah, let's see how this goes. So this game is all about bluffing and mind games. We can always see what cards have been played, so each of us knows exactly what the other player has left. Alright, are you ready? Sure. Don't worry, I'll go easy on you. Take all the time you need to make your selection. Alright. A 5 for the first card makes for an interesting start. You try to surpass it and play something higher. But if I'm going to do the same, you don't know how high I would go to not only beat the 5, but your higher card as well. Alternatively, you could count on me trying to beat a higher card and play a low one instead, thus making me waste mine. What's it going to be, Reich? Let's go with 7. As you can see, I played a lowly 2 just to see what would happen. Getting to know your opponent and their tendencies is just as important as analyzing potential moves and strategies. The first point is yours, but now you'll have to ask yourself, was it worth it? Okay. So he can only beat the king with an ace. So I'm just going to play the 2. Only card that beats a king is the ace, but playing it here would be a rookie mistake. It's definitely a safer play to just get rid of a low card here. Okay, so I did the right thing. Let's do 10. Okay, looks like a tie. Let's do the king. Alright. Guess I should start playing seriously. That does mean I get those other 2 points, right? Anyways. Ah. Ah! Come on. Alright. Only thing I got left, I can beat the queen. Ah, dang it. Well, couldn't beat that anyways. Well, he's lost all his face cards and his ace. So I'm going to keep the jack for the 9. So I'll do this. And this. Okay, got that. And... okay. Who won? We got a draw, really? There's no tiebreaker or anything? No, not really. Guess it's just a draw then. This doesn't happen often. How peculiar. Well, you didn't lose. That's pretty good for your first game. Thanks. I'll just put these away. No rematch? Maybe some other time. It's getting kind of late now. Why is he blushing? Why is he blushing? Hey, maybe next time you could teach me a human card game. Sure. Maybe we should get some sleep now. I imagine it'll be just as busy tomorrow as it was today. I would say. We gotta deal with another murder. So how do you like your bed of rocks? It's pretty cold. Takes some getting used to. A blanket would have been nice at the very least. I could... He's pretty straightforward. You know, might as well if this keeps him alive. Is that better? Sure. Okay. We're not gonna talk about... nope, we're not gonna talk about the cuddle... whatever. Alright, skip ahead. Political district. I'm gonna get the full thing to 100% this game. I guess I have to date her. Ugh. back to Bryce. Okay. Thanks for the invitation. Skip ahead. See you. Haven't done spend the day reading yet. Can't do anything with Bryce. I'm waiting to do a Dean's Good ending, so we'll spend the day reading my apartment. I wasn't really in the mood for anything complex, so I started for reading the next entry in the Sheridan's Adventures series. By the time I had finished the book, in which the Scepter of Sovereignty from the preceding novel is first stolen, then reclaimed by the novel's titular hero, only to be stolen again in another cliffhanger ending play, setting up the series' next entry, I wish I had spent the time doing something more productive. Excuse me. Figured I might still be able to go out or do something else, but when I looked at the time, I regretfully had to realize that the day was already over and it was too late. Okay, skipping. Second step. Wait, who? Aha. Okay, so we get Anna's good ending, and she is not the one that dies, regardless of if I'm dating her or not. Alright. Fine. Skip ahead. You did a thing. Achievement on what? Okay. Sure, I'll help you, dude. Go to the portal. Oh, I can also meet with him. Alright, well, we're doing Bryce. Right. Doing Bryce's ending, not doing... Anyways, moving on. There you are, Reich. Seems like you're the last one. I thought I was on time. Oh, you are. It's just that everyone always gets so excited about this that they come a little early. I thought it was strange how late you're holding this little get-together anyways. We already did Anna. No, Anna's not dead. It was her assistant. Anna's alive. Apparently, when you get her good ending, she doesn't die. Well, she doesn't get killed. But she still dies from the cancer. Which sucks. Well, hopefully we can fix that. Simple, really? Now we get the speech all to ourselves. Before you go and meet the others, I should probably warn you. What is it? There's someone here that you may not approve of. Is it Maverick? And who would that be? Called it. Why is he here? All things considered, I think it's better for him to be here when I can watch him, where I can watch him, than if he was out there doing who knows what. You know what I mean? Besides, if I invited you and not him, I'm not sure how he would react. How he would have reacted. He's always come to my barbecues before. Plus, maybe if I talk to him, I can find out what he's up to. Yeah, there's mods for that. I'm sure there's plenty of mods for this. I don't think I'm going to go through them. Does he know that I'm here? Yes, and he assured me that he will keep the peace. Can you do the same? Heck no, I'm out of here. Okay. Sure. Thanks, I appreciate it. Let's just hope there won't be any incidents. Alright, let's go and meet the others. As we walked a few paces, I saw some familiar faces. Usually there'd be more people here, but with everything else that's going on, some of the others at the department couldn't get any time off. Hey everyone, guess who's finally here? Zong, the waiter at the bar, and the store clerk. Hello, Reich. Hey. Is that you, Sebastian? What are you talking about? Sorry, I didn't recognize you without your little cap on. That's a good one. Oh, you're already bringing out the jokes. Let's see how long you're going to last in this company. What's up? Hey, Reich. Alright, let's get this barbecue. Hang on, what is he saying? Yes, he did. But you know what? This evening won't be very enjoyable if you decide to have an attitude. Because I can have an attitude too, and I doubt you want to see that. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Be nice. I don't see a grill or anything here. Really? You're asking where the fire's going to be? See the pile of stones over there? That's our grill. And firewood? Well, we don't need that. I see. So, who shall light the fire? I can make my own this time. Very subtle, Sebastian. No need to be subtle about it. Zong, your fire stunk up the whole area last year, and it made everything taste weird. Why? I didn't notice a difference. Yeah, because everything tastes the same to you, Maverick. I told you, I had the flu. I'm pretty sure you gave us more than just your fire. I think we got some of your spit in there too. That's gross. Yeah, because of the flu. Everything was congested, so it was just hard to get anything out at all. So why did he do it? You're not making this any better. Excuses, excuses. I'm just telling you how it is. Besides, it wasn't even my idea to light the fire. You were all like, oh, Zong never lit the fire. He should do it. Don't blame me for getting what you wanted. Yeah, and we learned our lesson. Zong, not even once. You wouldn't be complaining so much about it if it wasn't for the flu I had. Maybe I should light it again this time to prove you wrong. No thanks, last year was bad enough. Why don't you do it, Bryce? I'm not sure if I'm feeling up for the task. Why doesn't Reich do it? Well, gee, why don't I do it? I don't know, I'm a human. I like that idea. Yes, let Reich do it. It seems we have a unanimous decision here. Go ahead, Reich, show us what you got. Suddenly, they all looked at me, clearly expecting me to light the fire for them. Is this a joke? They were all still watching me, not moving or batting an eye, when suddenly laughter erupted. Okay, guys, I get it. The joke's on me. Should have seen your face. Yeah, it was great. Don't pay any heed to them. They're always like this. Yeah, I noticed. Seriously, though, who should light the fire? You really want to do it, don't you, Seb? Is it that obvious? Just go ahead, then. We already agreed Zong is not doing it. Hey, I told you I could prove you wrong this time. Yeah, let's not ruin our barbecue 2 years in a row. Maybe next year, then. I don't feel up for it this year, and with Maverick's aim, he probably shouldn't either. I'd rather not risk anything. I could hit you anytime. Sure, but we just want to have a barbecue, not set the whole beach on fire. Yeah, this is how bros hang out, yeah. Besides, Sebastian's fire always makes the food so crisp and smoky. I like that. Any objections? Nope. Me neither. Master of Ceremony, would you light the fire, please? It's not an easy job, but someone's got to do it. Sebastian went up to the small bed of stones they had prepared. Since his back was turned towards me, I couldn't exactly see what he did, but a few seconds later, a fire started burning among the stones. There we go. Well done, Sebastian. My pleasure. Alright, everyone, pick your position. Poison. There. Wait a minute, what? Do I have the item that I need? What do I need for Bryce? What do I need for Bryce's good ending? It's not the blood. Is it the blood? No. It's not the map, that's for a Dean. What is it? Well, guess I'll find out. Alright, everyone, pick your poison. Just to get you up to speed, right? We've got pretty much everything here you could ask for. Of course, we have all varieties of meat, but we also have some vegetables and cheese if you're not into that sort of thing. We even got some of the algae stuff we usually bring for Naomi, one of the girls at the department, but she couldn't come tonight. Just help yourself and throw it on the fire. Sebastian always gets some veggies with his meat, whereas Zong goes totally crazy over the cheese stuff. Now that I think about it, maybe it was just that damn cheese that made everything so bad last time. Oh, shut up, or else I'll force feed you some of it. No thanks. Keep your cheese to yourself, please. Where was I? Oh, right. I go for the meat, personally. As I said, the algae is normally for Naomi. She really likes the stuff, but she's one of the water kinds, so that's not a surprise. I tried it myself once. Not really my kind of thing, but feel free to take some of it if you want to. And then, there's Maverick. He just eats whatever he can get into his muzzle. A few years ago, a sandstone managed to hide between some slabs of meat he got. He didn't even notice and just kept on munching. Yeah, but that was with Bryce's cooking, so I couldn't tell the difference. Why, you? After all of us had made our selection and put it on the fire, we sat down in a circle around it. Of course, Bryce made sure that Maverick and I were not sitting next to each other. So, Bryce, how's that stint with Amira going for you? It's weird. I'm not even really doing anything. I just have to follow her around and stand guard in her office. But what's worse, I think I found out why she wanted me to do the whole thing in the first place. Oh, do enlighten us. It's kind of embarrassing, to be honest. Now you definitely have to say it. Alright. The real reason why she wants me to be around her so much is that she totally has the hots for me. Yeah, I believe it. Oh, come on. Seriously? You wish. You all know what she's like in public, right? But as soon as it's just only the two of us in the room, she's like a totally different person. It's unreal. I mean, I believe that she's different in private, but still. Of course, Bryce. When you make up a story, just going out with a high-ranking politician isn't enough. Obviously, she also can't resist your manly allure. But it's true. I'm not even interested in her. For one, she isn't really my type, and regardless if it's her public or private persona, her personality really sucks. Definitely agree with that. What was that about? Okay, anyways. Moving on. Oh, shut up. If no one wants to believe me, I'll just stop before I get to the really bad stuff. I can actually confirm that she does act like a totally different person when she doesn't think she's being watched by the general public. Interesting. Okay, Bryce, why don't you tell us more? What exactly does she like about you? What's not to like about me? Can't argue with that logic. We get it, Bryce. Let's just change the subject. It's true, I swear. Then give us some details. What's she like in private? It all started innocently enough, but as I told you, when we were alone, she started to get kind of weird after a while. She wasn't even remotely subtle about it either. Once, even the words... Cavity search came up from her mind you, not me. Jesus. Oh, come on. I can't even listen to this anymore. And then later, she was suddenly like, oh, my back is so stiff, would you mind giving me a massage? You look like you have the proper strength to give me a good one. It's like she's not even trying to hide it. Speaking of guy time, got my coworkers. But my coworkers want to go out shooting tomorrow. We'll see. Did you give it to me? Of course not. I told her I'm no good with massages. That's the truth. Who would have thought? Do you really believe him, Seb? I'm not judging, I'm just listening. Amira wanting you to give her a massage hardly constitutes her having the hots for you, though. I'm not even done yet. Well, I'm done with this. Earlier today, she told me how nice it would be for a child to grow up with 2 leaders for parents. Actually, I don't think even Bryce could have come up with that one on his own. I'm not buying it. Hey, at least you believe me, right, Reich? I do, yeah. I do. I can totally picture Amira acting like that. See, I told you. If Reich believes it, it must be true. Can't argue with that logic. Maybe it's just the alcohol talking. I didn't even have anything yet. Sure, but with as much as you drink, your blood is like at least 10% beer by now. Bet you can't even get completely sober anymore. Anyway, what do you think I should do about her? Nothing, because you made up the whole thing in the first place. If I don't do anything, I'll probably end up having to marry her or something. Ugh. And at that point, your story would actually be credible. Why don't you just tell her to stop? It's not that easy, considering our positions. Even though I'm the chief, there's nothing I can do to prevent her from pulling me off the case and making me into her personal bodyguard. If I tell her off too strongly, she could totally make my professional life a nightmare. And she totally would. I see. So this is a situation that requires careful deliberation and subtlety. Not exactly your strong suits, Bryce. That's why I'm asking you lot. Now that you're not that you're much better, though. Maybe you should play along for a while just to see what happens. And then, once the time is right, you strike. And strike refers to what exactly? I'm not going to indulge her in any way, shape, or form. Ugh, this is the kind of situation that's going to cause a huge uproar if I include it in my memoir. Who's going to read your memoir anyway? Well, I know at least one person. Reich, what do you think I should do? Well, aren't I technically trying to date Bryce here? So I don't want to tell him to date her. So how do you really feel? Are you sure? Well, if you string her along, that would be pretty dishonest, and she might even be more angry when she finds out the truth than if you had just told her up front. Good point. Kind of makes me curious, though. How does dating work in this world, considering there are so many sentient beings around here? Is dating between different species encouraged? Maybe that's why Amira is so interested. Is there ever any crossbreeding? I'm sure these questions will go over well in this group. Crossbreeding, that's funny. Well, there isn't any crossbreeding. It doesn't work like that. Besides, I thought you were into biology, so shouldn't you already know where hatchlings come from? You are a completely different life form from what I've seen before, so I didn't want to make any assumptions. There are many interspecies couples, though. And what happens if those couples want to have a child? There are plenty of options, though usually it's either adoption or a child where only one of the parents is biologically related. Isn't Lorem like interspecies? Isn't Lorem a hybrid? Amira totally wants my children, though. Don't you want to be a father? Heck no, I'm not ready for that. I wouldn't even know what to do with a hatchling. I'd probably end up breaking its neck by accident. Jesus. What about you, Reich? What about me? Are you having the hots for someone here, as Bryce would put it? To be honest, I have no idea how that kind of relationship would be viewed where I come from. Since we only have one sentient species, I'm not sure what sort of social norms would we develop if that changed. Technically speaking, you dating one of us is no different than Amira dating Sebastian, for example. Hey, I'm not getting between the beautiful thing Amira and Bryce have going on. Oh, this is such guy talk. No, I could have sworn that Lorem was a hybrid. I know Lorem is a hermaphrodite. I thought Lorem was... Could be wrong. If you ask me, you can do whatever you like as long as you're here. Knock yourself out. Actually, Reich has been hanging out with you a lot, Bryce. Awkward. So what? Reich is a cool person in my book. Or do any of you disagree? I don't disagree. I think Reich is pretty cool. Not me. No comment. By the way, I think the food should be ready now. I think it's way burnt by now. Jeez. Good catch. Slowly, everyone shuffled towards the fire, which by now had become nothing more than an eerily glowing pile that illuminated the area. One by one, everyone took their hot food from the stone and then placed it into the provided paper plates and bowls. Yeah, I was pretty sure one was a hybrid. Anyways, it was my turn. I hesitated since I could still feel the heat radiating from the stones. Something the matter? I think this might be too hot for me to handle. Right, no scales. Let me get that for you. There you go. Thanks. We resumed our positions in a circle around the glowing stones, and I waited for my meal to cool down while the others started eating. Yep, crisp and smoky. Good job, Sebastian. Don't mention it. Really, it's good. I'm still not sure how you can eat that cheese stuff, Jean. Are you going to make fun of my food choices again? To be fair, we make fun of everyone and everything here. I don't mind the cheese. You wouldn't mind eating the whole bed of stones and everything on it as well. At least I try something different every once in a while. I do too. I think there are at least 5 different kinds of meat this time around. Case in point. The food remaining on the stone slowly disappeared as everyone got their additional helpings. Soon, even the last piece was gone, and silence started to set in as the banter slowly died down. I think it's time for me to leave. What, already? Hey, the babysitter can only stay so long. Oh well. He has a kid? Yeah, I should also be heading off. You know I'm starting early tomorrow. Well, I guess we all got what we came here for. What about you, Maverick? Looks like this party is over anyway. Don't you all get lost in the dark then. Of course. And until next year. Thanks for inviting me, Bryce. I suppose I should be heading off as well. Oh, no you don't. What are you talking about? Well, they all live in the vicinity, but your apartment is on the other side of town. I'm not letting you go home alone at this hour. Reza has always operated during the night, and he may just be waiting for an opportunity like this. What do you want me to do then? You can sleep over at my place. If you insist. Damn, now everyone left without cleaning up. At least you're still here with me. Here to help me. Of course. We started cleaning up together, but with the amount of trash left by 5 people, it was clear it would take a while. Hey, do you want to know where I got these scars? You want to know how I got these scars? My father was an alcoholic. I bet you're curious. Go right ahead. Guess I was right. You are curious. Curious. Yeah, sure. At least they make me look extra intimidating at my job. No one's going to mess with the big, rugged chief of police. You probably think I got them from some crazy near-death case, but that's only true for one of them. The other was completely different story. Are we going to hear about Maverick's brother? Oh, no, we're going to hear about a different one. Back when I was a kid, some of my friends and I always used to go outside and go adventuring together. We could go anywhere, as long as it was close enough to town. Woods, mountains, beaches. We loved to explore every one of them. We got fairly familiar with our surroundings. Then, one day, we heard from someone that there was a system of caves nearby. Caves. That was something completely new to us. Of course, we went there as soon as we could. We were all very excited. It wasn't a big cave system, not big enough to get lost in, but we still had so much fun that day. So much, in fact, that I wanted to go back there right away. The next day, I called up a few friends, and they had a longer school day than I did. Instead of waiting for them, I decided to go alone. Turns out, going out exploring on my own was a little less exciting than doing so with friends. I still had a pretty good time, and just walking through the entire underground system was quite an experience. Plus, since I was alone, I could take the time to go to explore every last nook and cranny that I wanted to. Maybe that was my mistake. When I was in one of the remote corners, the ground suddenly gave way and I fell about 5 meters into the cave below. Luckily, I didn't get any serious injuries from the fall, but as I looked for another exit, an ominous realization set in. This cave had no entry or exit except for the one I came in. There were a few holes, but I could never fit through any of them or make them bigger in any way. Even if I could, I didn't know where they'd lead. In the end, I had to try and climb out on my own, but as you can imagine, I wasn't exactly the best climber in town. Even so, I still got about halfway before I lost my grip and fell down again, cutting my muzzle on the edge of a rock in the process. It bled pretty badly, but at least I knew to put pressure on the wound. I couldn't try to climb out again, however, so I waited. Sorry if I'm going pretty fast. Need to try and wrap this up. Oh, he's so cute. He's so young. My daughter's getting off school early today, and I might have to go get her, so I want to be able to go get her if I have to. It took several hours for anyone to even notice that I was missing. That sucks. Must have been there for about 4 or 5 hours all alone before I heard footsteps above and the search party found me. Poor kid. Long story short, it turned out that Bestie's... Jesus, my dyslexia is killing me today. Besides the cave system we knew about, there was a much larger one right underneath. Those caves can only be entered with a guide now. And I got this loving reminder of the experience on my muzzle. I had plenty of time to think while I was down there, and later in life I often returned to that experience. At first, it made me want to get stronger, but I realized that strength alone wouldn't have saved me. Our kind will probably never be able to climb much at all, but I can at least try to better myself. I guess the whole experience also kind of explains why I'm building those stupid wooden models now. Feeling so helpless while I waited down there, it also made me realize I wanted to help others. Having been saved by police sure did a lot to make me want to follow the same path. Turns out I was good enough to even become chief. Yes, that's all of the trash. Thanks for the help. I suppose I'll have to tell you about the second scar some other time. Let's head back now, shall we? Sure. Okay. Yeah, I know I can save, but I wanted to try and get through this. Looks like it's already later than I thought. We better head to sleep soon. You can take the couch, and I'll just sleep on the floor or something. Don't you have a bed? Oh, this is just a temporary arrangement. I wanted to be closer to work, and the new apartment wasn't ready yet, so I have to stay here for a while. I see. With all this armor, I'll barely even feel anything, so it doesn't matter where I sleep. There's no need for you to sleep on the floor. What do you mean? Okay, guess we're going with this. It is, but I don't know if you... Well, if you say so. There's your bed. Wow, okay. He's a flirt. Let's take care of the light. There we go. Aha. So this little blanket here. Yeah, well, good night then. Okay, something tells me I don't have the item to get his good ending, because I'm pretty sure this would have been the time to use it. Well, okay, well, I'm gonna call it good for today. Sun's waking up and gotta go get my daughter from school. Got Lorem's done at least. I'll have to figure out where to get Bryce's. Oh, God, I hate... Ugh. Gotta love it. Well, anyways. Yep. those that stop by, thank you. It's always a pleasure. Sorry, I accidentally opened one of my other tabs. Always a pleasure. I'll try to play tomorrow. We'll see. But if not, I'll be back next week. We'll finish Bryce's story, hopefully, and see where it goes from there. I'd have to go back through Adin's. I think it's just these 5. Yeah, Lorem, Anna, Bryce, Remy, and Adin. So yeah, I think Bryce and Adin's good ending are all that's left. And yeah, we'll see what happens after that. I don't know much else. Just gotta find out what I need for Bryce's good ending and go from there. Then I gotta find something else to play. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anyways, nice being here with y'all. Those of you that stopped by, and see you next week.